Hi, I'm James Follen, and welcome to the class of 2024's A-Level Drama Final Scripted Performance. Our edited extract is from Scene 2 of Italian playwright Dario Fo's political farce Accidental Death of an Anarchist. Dario Fo is renowned for his intense, hilarious, and deeply political comedies, encouraging the audience to absorb his rich political message through the medium of accessible theatre. Accidental Death of an Anarchist was inspired by the death of Giuseppe Pinelli at the hands of police misconduct and corruption, following false conviction for the Piazza Fontana bombings. In this extract, the maniac infiltrates the station, making fools of the superior officers involved and forcing them to confess. In this extract, I, James Follen, performed the role of the superintendent, Cameron Seal performs the role of Inspector Pisani, the inspector in the sports jacket, and Joss Heddle-Bacon performs the role of the maniac. We thank Mr. Sanford for his role in the creative process, and we hope you enjoy.
Good morning. I gather you want to see me?
Good morning. What have you done to your hand?
Nothing. Who are you?
Nothing, eh? So why do you keep rubbing it? An affectation, is it? Or is it a nervous tick?
Could be. I said, with whom do I have the pleasure?
I knew a bishop who used to rub his hand like that. A Jesuit?
Are you suggesting?
You should see a psychiatrist. When people keep rubbing their hands like that, it's sure a sign of insecurity, guilt complex, lousy sex life. Do you have problems with women, perhaps?
Right, that'll do!
Ow! Impulsive, there's the proof. Now, tell me the truth. It isn't a tick at all, is it? You've just given someone a right hander, haven't you? Come on now. Own up!
What do you mean, own up? Would you mind telling me who you are? And among other things, you might care to remove your hat.
You're right. I hope you don't think I was being rude. Professor Michael Murray.
Nothing.
I told you I was arriving to take a second look at Frankie's death.
Well, actually,
I'd like the truth, please.
Sit down. Would you like to take your hat? Or maybe you prefer to keep it?
No, help yourself. It isn't mine anyway.
Eh? Would you like to go get the superintendent?
I wonder, would you mind calling in the superintendent? I'd like to get started as soon as possible.
Certainly, but wouldn't it be better if we went into his office? It's a bit more comfortable.
I'm sure it is, but it was in this office that the unfortunate business with the anarchist happened, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Well then!
So, ask the superintendent to join us at once, if he can.
And even if he can't!
And even if he can't.
What exactly did you mean by that, Inspector? Come to your office if I can, and even if I can't!
I'm sorry, Super, it's just that since...
Just let it be damned. You're getting too damn big for your boots. Do you know that? What's more, I'm not at all amused by your insolent style of behaviour, especially when it comes to punching your colleagues in the face!
But Superintendent, didn't Bertozza tell you about the raspberries were running joke about the underground police stations in Calabria?
Raspberries? Look, let's not start behaving like children. We need to keep on our toes. We're in the hot seat now with all these bloody journalists running around, making insinuations, and don't try to shut me up because I believe in speaking my mind and I don't care who. And who's this, for God's sake? A journalist? Why didn't you tell me?
No, Superintendent, don't worry, I'm not a journalist. There won't be any nonsense like that, I can assure you.
Very glad to hear it.
This young man here, who, in my opinion, is rather too irritable for his own good, and as I gather from your conversation, also appears to be allergic to raspberries. Superintendent, a word of advice, speaking as a father, this boy needs a good psychiatrist.
Thank you, but if you'll allow me,
Oh, certainly I'll allow you. Take a seat and let let's get started. By the way, did your colleague tell you that
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. This gentleman here is Professor Marco Marino Manapiero, first counsel to the High Court.
I wouldn't insist on the first. Let's just say one of the first.
As you wish.
Your Honour,
His Honour the Judge is here to reopen the inquiry into the case of the...
Oh, of course, we've been expecting you.
Actually, if you don't mind my saying so, there's something, how can I put it, awfully familiar about you. As if we'd met somewhere before, some years ago. You wouldn't happen to have been in charge of some concentration camp during the war, would you?
Concentration camp?
Oh, no, what am I saying? Oh, of course not. A man like yourself running a concentration camp? Unheard of. So, let's get down to business. Right, now, according to the statements, an anarchist, a railway shunter by profession, was right here in this very room being interrogated as to whether or not he was involved in the bomb attack at the Milan Bank of Agriculture, which claimed the lives of 16 innocent civilians. And here we have your precise words, Superintendent. There was strong evidence pointing in his direction. Was that what you said?
Yes, Your Honour, but that was only right at the start. Later on...
We'll stick with the right at the start for the moment, one step at a time. So, at about midnight, the anarchist was seized by a raptus. These are still your words. He was seized by a raptus and went and threw himself to his death from the window. Now, what is a raptus? Banju says that a raptus is a heightened form of suicidal anxiety, which can seize even people who are psychologically perfectly normal if provoked to the extremes of anger. In other words, to utter desperation. Correct?
Correct.
So, we need to find out who or what it was that caused this anxiety, this desperation. I suspect the best way would be to do a reenactment. Superintendent, the stage is yours.
Me?
Yes, would you mind going about your famous entrance?
I'm sorry, what famous?
The one that brought about the raptors?
Your Honour, there must be a misunderstanding here. It wasn't me who did the entrance. It was one of my officers.
Tut, tut, tut. It's not very nice to pass the buck to your subordinates. In fact, I find it rather naughty. Come on now, play your part!
I think I should explain, Your Honour. It was just one of those tricks of the trade that the police occasionally use to put pressure on the subject to confess.
Who asked your opinion?
Oh!
I was speaking with your superior. You should learn some manners. From now on, you only speak when spoken to. Understand? And now, Superintendent, I'd like to see you doing that entrance.
Oh, alright. Went more or less like this. Our anarchist suspect was sitting there, right where you're sitting now. My colleague, I came in somewhat brusque.
Well done!
Oh! And I went for him!
That's what I like to hear!
My dear railway shunter. Not to mention subversive. You'd better stop making fun.
No! Use the same words you used and stick to the script. No censorship here, if you don't mind. That wasn't quite what you said.
Well, I said, have you quite finished taking the piss?
Well done! And then what did you say?
We have evidence to prove that you were the one who planted the bombs at the station.
What bombs?
Talking about the bombing on the 25th.
No! Use the same words you used that evening. Come on, let's have ya. What bombs?
Don't play dumb with me. You know very well what bombs. The ones you planted on the train at Central Station 8 months ago!
Did you really have this evidence?
No, but as the inspector was explaining just now, the police use these ploys every once in a while.
Shrewd move!
But we had our suspicions. Since the suspect was the only anarchist railwayman in Milan, there was a good chance it was him.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. Crystal clear. Do me a favour, gentlemen. I'm here to conduct a serious inquiry, not to play cretinous word games, so let's get on with it. It says The anarchist seemed unaffected by the accusations and was smiling incredulously. Who made that statement?
Me, Your Honour.
Well done! So he was smiling. But it also says here, and this is word for word what you said at the time, undoubtedly one element in his suicidal crisis had been the fear of losing his job. So, one minute he's smiling incredulously, and the next he's terrified. Who was it that terrified him? Who was it that hit him with the bombshell he was about to lose his job?
Well,
Please, come on now. There's no need to play coy with me. I know you're not running a girls' school here. Don't you ever watch the police crime series on TV? It's your absolute right to carry on like that. Of course it is.
Thank you, Your Honour.
Don't mention it. Anyway, to recapitulate, you put the anarchist in a state of terminal depression, blacken his day for him, and he throws himself out the window!
Allow me, Your Honour. It didn't happen straight away. There's still my contribution to come.
Ah, yes, of course, you're right. First of all, you went out. And then you came back in again. And after a dramatic pause, you said... Oh, come on, Inspector, let's have your lines. Imagine I'm the anarchist again.
Right. Oh, fine. La 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 la. I just had a phone call from Rome. I've just had a phone call from Rome. Your friend, or should I say, your comrade, the dancer, has confessed. He's admitted that he was the one who planted the bombs at the bank in Milan.
Was this true?
Of course not.
And how did our railwayman take this?
Badly. In fact, he went white as a sheet, took a cigarette, lit it,
And threw himself out the window!
No, not straight away, actually.
But you did say straight away in the first version, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
What's more, you yourself told the newspapers and the TV that before his tragic gesture, the anarchist was in a tight spot.
Yes, in a tight spot.
And what did you go on to say then?
That is alibi. That he spent the afternoon of the bombing playing cards in the bar by the canal and collapsed.
And you ended your statement by saying that the anarchist suicide was an obvious admission of guilt.
Yes, I did.
And you, Inspector, were announcing to all and sundry that there was proof that he was a villain and a hardened criminal. But just a couple of weeks later, Superintendent, you issued a statement to say, here it is, that naturally, I repeat, naturally, there was no such evidence against our poor railwayman, so that he was completely innocent. And you, Inspector, even went as far as to say the anarchist was a good lad.
Yes, fair enough. We made a mistake.
Of course, of course. We all make mistakes. But if I might say so, you went right over the top. If you ask me, when you give a person a runaround like that, it's no wonder he gets seized by raptors. No, I'm sorry. I regard you as extremely guilty. I see you as totally responsible for the anarchist's death. You should be charged at once for having driven him to suicide.
You can't be serious, Your Honour. You said it yourself. Our job is to interrogate suspects, and if we want to get them to talk, every once in a while we have to use tricks and ploys and sometimes psychological violence.
But here we're not dealing with once in a while. This was continuous, premeditated violence. To start with, did you or did you not have proof that our poor railwayman had lied about his alibi? Answers, please! Where did the information come from that the anarchist dancer had confessed?
Oh, we made it up.
Well, how very creative! Oh! You should take up writing, you two. And believe me, you'll probably get the chance. Plenty of time to write. In prison. You're done for. The Ministry of Justice has decided that you must be made an example of, and that you must be dealt with the full severity of the law, so as to restore the public's lost faith in the police.
What? I don't believe it.
How could they?
It's true, I'm afraid, friends. Your careers are in tatters. Blame it on politics. At first it served a useful function, and something had to be done to stop all the strikes. So they decided to start a witch hunt against the left. But things have gone a bit too far. People have got very upset about the death of our defenestrated anarchists. They want someone's head on the block, and the government's going to give them yours.
Us! That's right.
Oh.
And you really think?
Well, who am I if not your executioner?
What a poxy job!
I've been set up. Now I know who did it.
I'd say a lot of
David's
people are going to
patience.
be very happy to see you two get your comeuppance.
So it mincemeat of us. Imagine the headlines. Humiliation. The sniggering. The jokes behind our backs.
Everyone turning their backs on us, pretending they don't even know us. They won't even give us a job as car park attendants by the time we're finished.
What bastard world!
Oh, what a bastard government!
You're right. You're going to have to advise us. What do we do now?
How should I know?
Yes. What would you advise?
If I were in your shoes,
Yes.
I'd throw myself out the window! What? If you ask my advice, the way things are looking, rather than have to endure the humiliation, take my advice! Jump!
No! What are you doing?
There's no hope! You're done for! Understand? Done for! Jump!
No! Stop! Don't push!
Oh, I'm not pushing. You've been seized by our raptors.
A raptors?
Yes, you were trying to throw yourselves out of the window.
It's not true that you're on it. It was you. You were trying to.
Exactly! You were doing the pushing!
Oh, it's true, it's true. I drove you to it. And you were in such a desperate state, you're almost ready to go. And look at you now, you're still in a panic. All those long faces.
Oh, yes, sir. Up shit creek without a paddle, you might say.
Inspector!
I'm sorry. I meant, down the pan.
So, blast the chain and away we go. Cheer up, gentlemen.
That's not very well for you. If you're in our position, do you know what? There was a moment just then when I was actually about to throw myself out.
Yeah, me too.
You see, Superintendent, amazing the effects of a raptus. And whose fault would you say it was?
Those bastards in the government. Who else? First, they give you a free hand. Let's have a bit of repression. Create a climate of subversion. The threat of social disorder.
You bend over backwards for them, and
No,
then.
no. Not at all. The fault would have been entirely mine.
Yours? Why?
Because no word of what I said was true. I made it all up.
What do you mean? You mean to say that down in Rome, they're not really out to get us?
Never even crossed their minds.
What about this stack of evidence against us?
Doesn't exist.
And the business about the ministry wanting our heads on the block.
Ooh, lies. They love you down in Rome. They think the sun shines out of your you-know-what.
You're not just having us on, are you?
Not at all.
Unless I've got this wrong.
Of course you've got it wrong.
Oh,
Leave this to me, Inspector.
certainly. Sorry, sir.
I don't understand, Your Honour. Why you want to set us up like that?
Oh, set you up. Not at all. It was just one of the tricks of the trade which we visiting judges also like to use every once in a while to remind the police that such methods are uncivilised. Not to mention criminal.
So you still think that when he jumped, it was because we pushed him?
But you said as much yourselves a moment ago when you panicked.
But we weren't even in the room when he threw himself out.
It's true, Your Honour. When he jumped, we just got out.
That's like saying that if a man plants a bomb in a bank and then goes out, he's not guilty because he wasn't there when it went off. Ah, you run a fine line in logic here, gentlemen.
But no, Your Honour. The inspector was referring to the first version, but we're talking about the second.
Ah, yes, of course. There's been a bit of a rewrite the second time round, hasn't there?
Well, I wouldn't exactly call it a rewrite. More like a correction.
Fair enough. Let's take a look at this.
Correction!
Well, we have...
Please don't forget that here I also have your statements for the second version. Go ahead.
Well, we've moved forward our ploy about the anarchist alibi and so on.
How do you mean?
Yes, well, you see, we stated our session with the anarchist when we tried to trick him. Didn't happen at midnight. It happened at around 8 in the evening.
2000 hours if you prefer.
Oh! So you brought the time of his flying lesson forward by 4 hours.
Ow!
So, the terminal depression happened at 8 o'clock and the suicide happened at midnight. So now, what do we do with the raptors? What I mean is, everyone concerned, from the judge who did the original inquest through to the public prosecutor, has always stressed that the poor devil threw himself out the window because of a sudden raptors. And now, hey, presto, you've done away with the raptors.
No, we haven't. Not at all.
Yes, you have.
No, there was a raptus, but we just wanted to prove that it could have been caused by feeding him false information precisely because there was a gap of 4 hours between then and the time of his suicide.
Of course, you're right. That is brilliant. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
So that way, no one is going to be able to lay the blame at your door. All right. A few white lies were told, but they could have been the reason for his death.
Exactly! So we're not guilty!
Congratulations! Oh, we still don't have the faintest idea why the poor wretch threw himself out the window. But that doesn't matter! The main thing is, for the time being, you're innocent.
Allow me to thank you again, Your Honour. I must admit, I was beginning to think you had it in for us.
How do you mean?
That you'd made your mind up that we were guilty.
Not at all. Quite the opposite. I understand I have been rather provocative, but that was only to force you to come up with ideas that were sufficiently convincing for me to help you get out of this mess.
I'm really grateful to you. It is good to know that the judiciary is still a policeman's best friend.
You might even say collaborator.
Of course!
But you're going to have to collaborate too if you really want me to get you out of this mess and put you completely in the clear.
Absolutely.
My pleasure.
You know what I say? The only sensible solution to all this is to chuck it all in the bin and start over again.
Can we drop a third version?
Not at all, just make the two we've already got a bit more plausible.
I agree.
So, here's where the difference comes. The anarchist didn't throw himself out the window because it wasn't yet midnight. It was only 8 o'clock in the evening.
As in the second version.
And as we know, railwaymen are very particular about timekeeping.
So that gives us plenty of time to change his mood and to delay his suicidal intentions.
Things were going swimmingly.
Yes, but how did this change come about? Time on its own is not sufficient to heal certain wounds. Somebody must have given him a hand. Oh, I don't know, a kind gesture or something.
I wasn't there.
Oh, come on now, you must have been there. This is a very delicate moment.
All right, I was.
Right. Now, for a start, can we say that you were both a bit moved by the state the anarchists had gotten into?
Oh yes, I felt ever so sorry for him.
And might we also say that you, superintendent, were also sorry to see him feeling so bad? You are, after all, a sensitive sort of chap, are you not?
I was ever so sorry. Sad, even.
Perfect. And I bet you couldn't resist going up to him and putting an arm around his shoulder.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, come Come on now, a fatherly gesture.
I don't remember.
Come on now, you did. Please. Tell me you did.
He did, I saw him.
Fair enough. If he saw me.
You, on the other hand, gave him a friendly pat on the cheek. Like this.
No! Sorry to disappoint you, Your Honour, but I most definitely did not. No friendly pats on cheeks.
You do indeed disappoint me. And do you know why? Because this man was not only an anarchist, he was a railwayman. Have you forgotten that? And do you know what this railwayman means? It's something that goes back to the childhood of every single one of us. It means train sets, clockwork, electric. Didn't you ever have a train set when you were a kid?
Yes, I did. A steam train. With real steam.
And did it go? Toot, toot.
Sure. Toot, toot!
Wonderful. Spectre. When you said toot, toot, I saw your eyes light up, and I just know, felt affection for this man because in your subconscious you connected him with your train set. And I just know, gave him a friendly pat on the cheek. And what did you say while you were patting him on the cheek?
I don't remember.
Tell you what you said? You said, cheer up. Don't look so miserable. You'll see. This won't be the death of anarchism.
Ooh. No, I don't think so.
Oh, come on now, for goodness sake! You did. Otherwise, I am going to get annoyed. My neck. Look at my neck. Did you or did you not say it?
All right, if it makes you any happier.
Oh, say it then. I'll have to put it in a statement.
Well, I said, cheer up. Don't look so miserable. You'll see, this won't be the death of anarchism.
Well done! And then you sang a song!
We sang a song!
Of course, you were in such a good mood. You were all friends, comrades even. And I bet you couldn't resist having a good old sing. Now, what might you have sung? How about an anarchist song? Nostra patria e al mondo intero, I imagine.
No, I'm really sorry, Your Honour, but we really can't go along with that. An anarchist sing-song.
Do you know what people are going to think of you? That you're a bunch of bent bastards and liars. Who do you think is ever going to believe you again? And do you know why they won't believe you? Because your version of the facts, as well as being total bollocks, lacks humanity. Not a shred of fellow feeling. You never let yourselves go. Let rip. Laugh. Cry. Sing. People would be willing to forgive all your cretinous blunders if only they could see two decent human beings behind it all. So please, for your own sakes, sing! O propungere l'Italia all'avventura si va senza rimpianti ni para nostra patria al mondo intero, nostra legge la libertà e un pensiero ribelle in cui ci sta.
De misery let go, sollevando con ogni nazione, messi al bando.
Nostra patria al mondo intero, nostra legge la libertà e un pensiero ribelle in cui ci sta.
Dovunque un futuro si ribelli, noi troveremo schiere di fratelli.
Nostra patria al mondo intero, nostra legge la libertà
ed un pensiero ribelle in cor ci sta, nostra patria al mondo intero, nostra legge la libertà ed un pensiero